And hello again, YouTube. It is 8:05 a.m. Saturday, February 5th, 2022. I'm not sure what my daily limit is on withdrawals from Wells Fargo Bank, but I was able to get everything I needed just from that account. So saved me the hassle of having to walk over and use those incredibly awkward Chase Bank drive-up ATMs on foot. Anyway, I just walked by the bus stop for the 29, checked the transit app as I was walking across the street, walking across 44th Street, and I'm looking at 11 minutes. It's a Saturday schedule today, which is not as underserved as a Sunday schedule, but it is less service than on a weekday. Anyway, the bus was 16 minutes away. It's the estimate, you know, in the Valley Metro app, and it was at about Scottsdale Road. I'm headed to PLS to get a money order for my rent. PLS is located at 38th Street in Thomas. Yeah, I can walk that. It's a really nice day. I can walk that. I mean, I've still got a valid bus pass. That's not an issue, but yeah, I'd rather walk it. Share you guys some of this lovely scenery on Thomas Road than sit there for 11 minutes. So I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it's a crapshoot. Which is faster, the bus or walking on this one? It's 3/4 of a mile. It's a nice day. I'm gonna walk. So I don't know if I've mentioned this on my vlogs. I don't feel like I have. Lately, I've stumbled into a subreddit called "Fuck Cars," which is very anti-car, anti-driving, which I am not, just to be completely clear, but I am very much for functional and financially fiscal public transit, and I'm also very much for good, safe bicycle and bicycle micromobility and pedestrian infrastructure. And at least on that end, I found a lot of like-minded people in Fuck Cars, in r/fuck cars, and also have just really enjoyed the posts and the discussions and stuff in there. And I've noticed that there's a significant amount of people posting in there that live in the Phoenix metro area. I've kind of enjoyed dispelling, or at least dispelling or a lot of myths about what people think about Phoenix. Because in the whole YouTube and Reddit transit walkable city space, Phoenix gets heavily vilified, mostly for its system of stroads, of which Thomas Road here is a pretty damn perfect example of. I mean, we got 2 lanes westbound, 3 lanes eastbound, and a left turn chicken lane in the middle. And I can agree that stroads are not optimal, but as somebody who was a cab driver in Phoenix for many years, damn near 20, stroads are what makes this city work. And they're not going away. I don't see any solution for transit in Phoenix that involves eliminating stroads. I just don't. And some people say, well, it's terrible for bicycles. Yeah, this is a terrible road for bicycles. I don't recommend riding a bike on this road whatsoever. And the only time I would do it personally. And when I say bicycle, that also includes my electric scooters. To me, bicycle structure equals micro-mobility infrastructure. There's a lot of people that disagree with me on that, but whatever. That's my position. Fight me. Yeah, the only way I'm riding down this stretch of Thomas is if I'm actually going to something here. Like, I've never gone to that barbecue, but I like the El Pollo Loco there. I go there every so often. And FedEx office, go there every so often. So if I'm going to something on this block, obviously I'm coming down this block. I might go down Thomas if it's late at night and there's hardly any traffic. And you better believe I'm taking up the entire right lane. I'm holding my position right in the middle of the right lane. There's another lane, you can pass me in it. I don't need to be on a shoulder that's inadequate for a vehicle to pass me in. I'm right in the bike, right in the lane. You can find another lane. But yeah, daytime I'm not doing it. And so a lot of people are like, well, that's really inadequate infrastructure, really inadequate infrastructure. And here we see somebody who's right on cue, going down the sidewalk. And this sidewalk's plenty wide enough for pedestrians, put a bicycle on it where they don't belong. And that guy is probably a homeless vagabond. This trailer with all the stuff in it and the bike. But hey, at least I don't see him throwing trash around. He doesn't seem to be doing drugs, so I'll give him credit there. But anyway, that was a little awkward. That guy actually handled it pretty well. Didn't sneak up behind me. There was enough room for me to pass him. But yeah, sometimes it's it is pretty awkward. And the solution to that, and this is what I always put forward, and people are like, oh, Phoenix is not bikeable. It's not bikeable. Don't ride on Thomas. Hey, don't ride on Thomas. Don't ride on Thomas for the same reason you don't ride a bike on a freeway. Exactly a quarter mile to the north of here is Earl Street, which goes through. I want to say, and I don't know 100%, there are every now and then there's like a block or two that it doesn't go through on, but for the most part, I think Earl Street goes through all the way from, I want to say 52nd Street, all the way to, I'm going to have to fact check this later, but I think it goes through from 52nd Street all the way to almost but not quite 20th Street. I think there it ends at the canal, which the canals, to me, the paths on the canal is way better bike structure than a bike lane anyway. To me, that's the optimal bike infrastructure, is paths that are not attached to roads whatsoever. Just as freeways are the best way to move cars, as opposed to being on streets like this, or roads, if you will. But yeah, there's, for someone in this part of town, there's absolutely no reason to be on Thomas. You can be on Earl. Earl is a very bikeable street. It doesn't have painted bike lanes on it, but it doesn't have hardly any cars on it either. And the cars that are on it are typically going 25 miles per hour or slower. It's a nice wide street. Ride your bike. I've rode my scooter. I've biked it and rode it on a scooter many, many times. Now, Earl is not so great for walking. It doesn't have sidewalks on all of it. But for bicycle and micro-mobility, freaking excellent. Also, to the south, it's a little inconsistent. I can't really name one that goes through at the quarter mile mark to the south. But a half mile south is Oak, which actually has nice bike lanes on it. Used them many times. There are also other streets that go east and west that go through from 44th Street, again, all the way to 20th Street, actually all the way to the 51. And if you're on Oak, there's actually a bicycle overpass at the 51. So you don't even have to worry about dealing with the uncomfortable situation of a freeway crossing where there's a car intersection. No, I will definitely defend the bicycle infrastructure in Phoenix. I find it to be really good. It's just you need to have a different navigation mentality when cycling or riding a scooter in Phoenix. Unfortunately, it was before I started doing this vlog, but I used to scoot all over this neighborhood. In fact, the first roughly year of the pandemic, even though I had a car, almost everything was closed. And my world got smaller. Everything that I would drive to, primarily bars, were closed. So there wasn't much reason for me to drive. Everything that all the, you know, quote unquote essential businesses and the few friends I was still socializing with, and then when the bars reopened, the few bars that I was going to were all close enough I could ride scooters to them. So yeah, I got around just fine in this part of town on electric scooters. And honestly didn't feel like there needed to be additional infrastructure at all. I don't think bike lanes on Thomas Road are a good idea. And while a lot of people would argue that they are, the speed limit is 35. As you see, people drive faster than that. And people drive 40 miles per hour plus on it, and nothing's going to change that. That just is what it is, because the road is nice, wide, through street. And I was correct. I did manage to get here faster walking than the bus would have been. So, yay, exercise, saving time. Anyway, to wrap this up, so I need to get my dang money order. But yeah, I mean, if they were to add a bike lane, it would be at the expense of one of the traffic lanes, and these traffic lanes are busy, they're needed. And I'm not falling for that myth that, oh, if you make the less traffic lanes, then people will switch to bikes and switch to buses. No, they won't. People that are going to drive are going to drive. People that want to bike are going to bike. People that have micro-mobility and have discovered how excellent that is as a way to get around are going to use it. Taking a lane away from this road is just going to make the congestion that's on this road worse. And if anything, it's going to encourage more drivers to use Oak and to use Earl. And I would much rather those drivers be over here on Thomas, away from the roads that are safe to ride on with a bike and with an electric scooter. And if they were to put in bike lanes, I would assume they would eliminate since there's 2 lanes going westbound and 3 lanes going eastbound, I would assume they would eliminate one of the eastbound lanes. So what they would end up doing is shifting every lane over halfway and putting a white solid line right here. And that white solid line isn't going to do jack shit to protect me from a truck like that drifts across them. And I have driven many times on roads that do have bike lanes and watched as the car in front of me is driving half straddling the bike lane. Yeah, I'm just not such a fan of bike lanes. As a phrase that's really common in the car-free city movement, is especially with cyclists, is that paint is not infrastructure. And when it comes to bike lanes, I agree with that. And I don't think the solution is to put little pylons between the lane and the bike lane and the car lane, because cars can plow right through those, and it ends up being I find those to be super awkward to ride on as well. I'd much rather just ride on a through street that doesn't have much in the way of vehicle traffic on it, like Earl or Oak. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox on this subject. Thanks for joining me on this. I'm gonna go get my money order. Oh, by the way, not a paid sponsorship or anything. PLS has free money orders. There's no reason to pay for a money order.